texts about it, I couldn't see on definitely the same thing.
Yeah, that's not good.
Like many of you, I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil Record. Like, a lot. The game's not perfect. Some people say there could be more gray sections. Some people say the story's kind of nonsense. But literally no one is saying, let's make the graphics look like the AI slop your 45-year-old coworkers are posting on Facebook. Unfortunately, it looks like NVIDIA is cooking up just that with DLSS 5. And honestly, it might just be a wrap for gaming as a whole. So what is DLSS anyways? Without going into technical jargon that's way over my head, if you want to run a game at 4K, it could be very taxing on your hardware. But with DLSS, it renders the game at a lower resolution, then it upscales it with AI. Under most circumstances, it often introduces some weirdness around edges, some artifacting, but for the vast majority of people, it allows you to crank up the settings and enjoy the game the way it was intended. But with DLSS 5, their AI model isn't reconstructing the image as it's meant to be. It's reimagining it entirely. Lighting, skin smoothing, modifying assets. NVIDIA wants to pump your game through a Snapchat filter. I'm not going into the are games art debate because the answer is self-evident to anyone with an IQ above 75. But there isn't just some make game button that these devs are using and having something truly worthwhile come out of the other side of it. The lighting, textures, character models, it's all intentional. No one at Bethesda thought the only thing their game was missing was Joffrey Elfstein. But I guess NVIDIA did. To play devil's advocate for a second, if the tech was somehow used solely for environments and lighting, for like foliage or street lights or something, I don't think anyone would bat an eye, especially if the developer's intent was photorealism. But people could smell bullshit from a mile away, and that uncanny valley has not been crossed. I don't know a single person who could play through Starfield with the NPCs looking like this. So ask yourself, if the consumers aren't asking for it, who is? If anyone watching works in any sort of corporate environment,
the heck are they doing over there? Still dropping? My God! Worse than I thought. 5 TikTok instances, auto-scrolling, 3 audiobooks playing at the same time, and 7 memes. Feet-related memes. Oh, okay, now I have your attention. Okay. We found your baseline. Thank you. Hello. Now that I have your attention, I can finally give you the cure. Your brain has got messed up from the algorithm in ways you don't even understand. I know, because I used to be the same, but I managed to escape the algorithm. That's right. You may touch that. Disgusting. Ah. And I get it. Who cares? Another one of those. Hey, I quit the internet. Look at me. What's interesting about this isn't that it happened. It's that it happened by mistake. I didn't mean to do it. It just sort of did. And you know what that means? That means there's a cheat code. There's an easy way out. And I will share this cheat code with you. Not so fast. Always instant gratification, huh? You gotta wait. Hit it with more feet. We all have algo brain, and to certain degrees, it's okay. I call it algo brain, but in reality, it's just that I think being online, I think it's just a price that we have all come to accept. But I say no more. No more. If we all know the internet is bad for you, then why are we here? Just to suffer? I'm standing here, stress levels now. Stressing? Do I look like I'm stressing right now? What am I stressing about? Huh? What's so goddamn important? My brain synapses are firing again. All 3 of them. I feel like I'm 6 foot right now. Not to exaggerate or anything. I am meaning, but I feel like I have something to share for once, okay? And I will yap. Just so we're clear. But I have the cheat code. I have the cheat code. To get through the cure, we have to understand the disease. So what's the problem then? I think the problem lies with our limitation in our brain, or should I say, not limitation. I read a book about our brain one time. I learned that there are certain elements in the brain that are just hard-coded. Okay, there's no way to get around it, but there are also elements that can be trained, like your attention span. And because of that, that also means it can be trained. And because tech companies, these goddamn tech companies, their metric of success is how much attention they can suck out of you. And that means it's a race to the bottom. That's why clicking a YouTube video is like getting a shot at it in a shotgun. Point blank race. Like, bro, you know. That's why the more time you spend online, the more alpha brain you got. The more sucking has happened to 5,000 engineers. So optimize his retention. And that job has been passed down to me. I didn't ask for this. The whole success of this YouTube video is how much I can keep you engaged. What happened to just simple old clickbait? I gotta engage people now. I was ready to give you the cheat code right away, but the algorithm says no. It's not my fault. But I'm telling you, you gotta put yourself before it's too late. I'm standing here, 6'11", practically. Not to sound like a boomer dad again, but I am concerned for how this is affecting, especially the kids. Did you know that Gen Z has the lowest cognitive performance ever? Or the first time it went down, we would always become smarter. Who can blame them? Look at the environment we're in. I get the argument, the counter argument. It's like, well, they're better at playing Minecraft. It's like, okay, cool. Games when I was a kid was fun. Now look at Roblox, the biggest game for children, has microtransactions. That's weird. Now there is short form content. Hooray. EP. And just so we're clear, I am a fun person. I like a meme. I like a shirt. But now, what I'm not okay with is AI generated shorts, which is being created. So we got consumed with no intent, created with no intent. Congratulations. We've industrialized nothingness. And it's just getting worse. You gotta free yourself before it's too late. I'm like a Morpheus right now. This is your home, bro. I'm here for you, bro. I want to make it clear that everything I say in the video is okay to indulge in. If you want to play Roblox all day, knock yourself out. But the key is intent. That's what matters. Intent matters. If you go around your life not wasting time. And I'd be like, I did not want to do this. If you want to do this, that's good for you, but I don't want to do this. But I found the cube. I found the cube. And a lot of it is going to sound crazy, but you gotta hear me out. It's a step-by-step process. And I'm not saying you have to do all of it, but you should do some of it. For me, the solution started with my de-Googling video. That's not to say Google is the whole problem with everything. Clearly, I failed with my de-Googling. I'm still on YouTube. And full transparency, I still use Google Maps. It's too good. It tracks traffic too good. Okay, what am I supposed to do? I tried using like a wrapper for it. Then they banned that. So thank you, Google, for smuggling. Again, there's no escape. I wanted to remove all the tracking elements. So I put all those apps that I didn't really trust in a second profile. Anything attention hungry, it went on the second profile. And I swear to God, I cannot understate how much that has changed my life. Those 5 to 6 seconds that it takes for me to switch over to the other profile stops me every time from going, hey, is this what I want to be doing? People get dumb phones to stop themselves from wasting time on the phone, but that's when you just need a little bit of friction. My phone is what I want it to be, a device that serves me, not the other way around. I'm not the product. When you do head over to the other side, the dark side, or I should call it the rainbow-sucking attention side, it's so obvious what's going on. Like, everything is so desperate for your attention. Since my phone and text messages and email and all that is on the main profile, I always have to swap that. Anyway, you should do this. You should do this. The second thing I did was self-hosting. You gotta self-host, man. They're coming for you. The effect that self-hosting did on me was that I am not the product anymore. What the things I use are mine, and because they're not free, I'm not paying with my privacy or getting algo stuff. I think the main difference is that ads and news don't reach. It's hard to explain the effect that this has on you without actually experiencing it. I'm one of those people that believe how much the subconscious affects you. Even if you are not actively processing information, just the fact that it exists in your peripheral messes with your head. All these services going, it messes with your head, man. Like, even if you're not actively clicking on all these bullshit, you still see it, and I still think it messes with you. Self-hosting, I'm just here, vibing. It's me and the tools I use, nothing else. No noise. That's why I'm proud for today's sponsor, which is Hostinger. If you're looking to self-host, you can rent a VPS, which is basically like a strong computer in the cloud, available 24/7. If you think self-hosting is difficult, they make it so simple for you. You get Docker, which is like an app store for free self-hosting stuff. You want to host your own kind of Netflix stuff? One click, bada bing, done. Now you own it. Congratulations. It's mine now. I own that. What's great about it is that it's available 24/7 and no matter where you go. I still use my Steam Deck to self-host, but certain services are just better to host on a VPS. I host my website on there because it's beautiful thing. You can host your Minecraft game server on there. Any weird thing you can think of, they can host it and they make it so simple for you. I only pick sponsors that I use myself, and I highly recommend Hostinger, and you get 10% off with the PewDiePie code or link in the description. Their lowest tier is already super powerful, and it's only $5 a month. It's a great deal, I'm telling you. They got NVMe storage and epic processors. That means it's fast, okay? That's all you gotta know. Whether you're a noob or a power user, they got you. And if you're self-hosting, they also have domains, so you can be like a pro and to put like web.yourhost. It's cool. So yeah, genuinely proud to have them as a sponsor. I highly recommend checking out Hostinger and start self-hosting. Once you try it, that's when you like it. They should have that as a slogan. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna disable shorts. Boom, gone. You don't have to do this. I like YouTube, okay? I don't have to de-Google everything, okay? But I hate how shorts is everywhere. I can't escape it. I search, there's shorts. Homepage, short. I go to someone's channel, there's shorts. It's just shorts. That's fucking shorts. I don't want to watch a short all the time. If I was running a website, I would want to empower my users. Google CEO, hello? Why can't I disable it if I want to? Why? Well, I took matters in my own hands. My last video, I trained my own AI, and I was testing out what it could do. And so I gave it a simple task of just writing an extension to block shorts for me. And bada bing, bada boom. Ah, beautiful. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Let's keep fixing YouTube. No more homepage as default.
Are you seeing this? This is so nice. Let's watch Jackson.
This is C4, so let's get a detonator.
No sidebar with recommendations. It's just the video. Let me do a comparison.
Oh, there's a good look. Oh, shorts. Do you want to watch shorts? Oh, you want breaking news? You want breaking news? You want more shorts, actually? And a sponsor. Oh, you wanted to go to the comments? No, you have to scroll through all these fucking videos to get to the comments. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Goodness gracious. This is crazy. I fixed YouTube.
My subscription box. That's what I want to see. Not just random algorithmic choices all the freaking time. Not only this, pick me, pick this video, pick this video. No, the subscription box which I chose. And then all of a sudden, oh, bliss. YouTube as I enjoy it. Connecting with people. Being entertained by them. Learning from them. Not this sporadic schizophrenic experience to be online. Like, my God, it's so jarring when I turn it off. I'm like, oh God, is this what it used to be like? Oh, maybe this whole thing is just a me thing. Okay, I'm telling you, man. Now I found out someone has already done this, so I'm gonna link theirs, and you can just instantly fucking do it. But yeah, I fixed YouTube. You're welcome. Next, I unfollowed everyone. You don't have to do this. This is definitely a me thing. I just got really fed up. And I do think it's kind of funny because remember the congressional hearings with Facebook where Zuckerberg logged being a human? Well, what came out of that, in case you didn't know already, was that 10% of all social media on Instagram
اكيد ما في احد.
It's social. 90% of these places, a bunch of information fed to you by a machine that don't know you and don't care know what the hell. I always had this idea that I had to be on social media. I have to, otherwise how am I going to connect with my friends? Meeting up with them? I don't think that either. You know? Or maybe just talking to them. Maybe just ask them what they are doing instead of stalking them like a fucking weirdo. It's okay to share stuff. That's fun. I get it. But maybe not everything. I don't know, man. It just had the effect that I don't even bother to go because it's like, what am I going to do? Look at memes? Although I have delegated that task to Marcia, she shows me memes now. So that's another way to do it. You just find someone else and they do the work for you. I do think it's funny because I quit Twitter a few years ago because I just thought it was getting too toxic. And then people would come to me and be like, yeah, Phillips is real bad. Anyway, it's like, why? No one's forcing you to be on this website. I feel like everyone has this idea that you have to be on social media. Next, get a DNS blocker. It's kind of the same as YouTube thing that I did where you block a bunch of stuff, only that it does it on a network level. So you can remove ads, you can remove websites. None of it even reaches your device. I think that it's kind of insane now that I think about it. You probably have done this too. We grew up on the internet unfiltered, and we are still unfiltered internet. I'm not crazy, man, but that's crazy. Now, I forgot to mention you can also host a DNS on your own. So if you're using Hostinator, for example, they make it easy for you to set it up. You'll have a DNS blocker anywhere, which you should have. Anyway, last but not least, I'm not a productivity person. Believe it or not, I don't even think it's real. It's just a feeling that you give yourself. It doesn't matter what you do. If you want to play games all day, browse social media all day, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I think what matters is that you choose to do it, and I think a lot of times we don't want to admit that maybe it's something that isn't our choice. I still doom scroll, because sometimes I'm just fucking tired. But I replace it with my own list. I host my own RSS feed. It's what I pick to doom scroll, okay? I can still make that choice. Different websites that just isn't that bad to me. Bookmark, blog post, whatever. I think you owe it to yourself to take some time today and start building your tech fence. That's what I'm calling this, tech fencing. These tech companies don't care about you, so you're gonna have to start caring about yourself. I care about you. That's why I'm making this video. So the cheat code is basically build some friction. It's that simple. Let your brain catch up and make the choice yourself. And also filter out annoying. That's your defense. And that's your cure. Now you understand the disease. You are free. Bon voyage. That's my new outro. Just kidding. Let's get real for a second. The internet is worse than ever. Everything is free. Free apps, free services. But remember, if it's free, you're the product. And companies have taken full advantage of this. Your name, your phone number, your address, your relatives, your shopping habits, they trade this and sell this. And you might be like, I don't really care, whatever. They make money off your data. And it's not just like a little bit either. You're worth a lot more than you think. An estimate was $250 billion every year, and per person in the U.S. is around $700. That's crazy. The good news is that you can clear yourself from these companies. You have the legal right to do it. Yes. Problem. It will take you forever, and you have other problems in your life. I understand. That's where Incogni comes in. They do all the work for you. You just sign up, give them the authority, and then you sit back and relax and you watch the updates come through. Oh, another one new. I think it's so cool because it used to be a thing where you were just helpless to, and you just had to accept. But now you can actually regain control. Take control of your privacy because otherwise someone else is going to do it for you. They also have this custom removal for their unlimited and family unlimited plan, where basically if you find something about yourself that you want removed online, you can direct them to do it for you, which is an amazing service. Another thing that I thought was completely impossible before, check out incognito.com/PewDiePie for
60% off. Take advantage of that deal. It's an amazing deal. Take privacy seriously in 2026. That's incognito.com/PewDiePie. Thank you for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to anime.
Hey, how are ya? If you know me, if you know this channel, you know what I'm about to say. Do I even have to say it? Give me more Final Fantasy 16.
One better luck, one wish for.
Look, listen, let's be honest. Final Fantasy 16 is a very different Final Fantasy game, a very divisive game. Hell, I'd say it's up there with one of the most controversial and divisive titles in the whole franchise. And yet despite that, despite yet another Final Fantasy causing commotion in the fandom, Final Fantasy 16 is so unapologetically me, my type of game. I wouldn't say it's my favorite game in the series. Hell, it's not even in my top 3. But 16 represents so much of what I love about the art of video games. It isn't the most Final Fantasy video game, no, and quite frankly, dumbing down RPG elements in an RPG franchise was quite the odd choice. But does it provide an unapologetic Final Fantasy story? It's not even a question. A story that calls back to Final Fantasy 1 through 5, especially deconstructs those themes of crystals, magic being seen as hope, being seen as the savior of humanity, to crystals, magic being humanity's downfall. Does it provide an incredibly rich narrative of a severely fucked up individuals deeply scarred by the world around them, defined by their pain, defined by their loss, defined by their humanity, of what it means to fight for free will in a world where free will is barred, in a world where oppression is normalized. Now that is what I live for, man. The world Kazutoyo My Hero has written here is so captivating because it genuinely feels lived in, it feels real. A world where magic that was once revered in other stories is now feared by nations but exploited, controlled for personal gain, convenience, comfort, even at the expense of human life and those who wield such power. A way of life that spans hundreds of years. It is all too real. The writers have made it a point through every facet of the story that the world's problems can't be solved overnight. Where in many JRPGs, not all JRPGs, you have that classic trope of teenagers saving the world in what seems like, well, overnight. Like this huge conflict was solved in a matter of weeks or months. However, in 16, we are taken through Clive's life, not to ooh and ah at his glow-up, his massive pecs screaming out of his shirt, but as a way to tell us that this teenager doesn't know how the fuck to save the world. How can he save the world when he doesn't even know the way of it, its true nature, who he is, or what he is? It's why I adore that 16 takes its time with Clive through years of wandering, experiencing, deconstruction, rebirth, resolution. Final Fantasy 16 emphasizes that change takes time, a lot of time. And within that time, within these 3 time skips, we get to know all these incredible characters, these dominants, who they are, what drives them to do what they do. Because Final Fantasy 16's story is at its highest, in my opinion, when we're shown how Valisthea has personally affected the lives of our characters. Whether it's Clive being sent to the Imperial front lines by his own mother because of her greed for power and self-preservation, or Jill being subjected to the Icon, forced to fight in a war when war itself was the very thing she hated. What about Joshua and the heavy burdens he's carried because of the societal structure, this inheritance placed upon him at so early an age? Because of his learning of Ultima, feeling like he had to take on that burden himself, keep Clive out of the clutches of this megalomaniacal maniac. And so yes, Final Fantasy 16's story is at its highest, most compelling when we see how this fucked up world changes these characters, and naturally forces them on a path of wandering, healing, and resolution. But we also have a problem. While these are great characters, let's be honest, most of them need more time in the limelight. We simply don't have enough time with these characters outside of Clive. Every character in 16 has the potential to be as fleshed out as Clive, but because of the creative decision to make this Clive story, everyone else feels as though they sit in the background, some more than others. The dominants themselves are so good. I mean, there wouldn't be any demand to see more of them if people weren't interested in their characters in the first place. But again, it just feels like we never got to see quite enough. Like there were so many more stories to tell there. And why wouldn't there be? I mean, some things are better left as world building. Some things are better left to the imagination. But at the same time, 16 has so much to tell, it's mind-boggling. They could pull from any piece of lore, any time period that took place during the events of the main game, and they wouldn't even scratch the surface of stories left untold. Let us see those stories, those years that aren't really needed to complete 16's already complete story, but can flesh out these beloved characters. And my god, 16 already gives us so many brilliant moments, but give us more quieter scenes like this between characters.
You're not a monster. You're the same man you've always been. Accept that, and you may yet escape your fate.
My fate.
Look, you've had a hard life, and I don't see it getting much easier. Might not be able to save anyone else, but at the very least, you can save yourself. I'll try.
Or this.
So I became their puppet. I let them pull my strings, telling myself it was not my hand that swung the sword, but another's. I removed myself from the truth so I would feel pain it caused. And before I knew it, I no longer felt anything at all. I had become a monster.
It's these these types of moments in any Final Fantasy story I care more about than the battles, the spectacle, or larger-than-life fantastical moments. But the moments where a story can take the time to slow down, give us these deeply intimate, personal scenes that bring us closer to these characters, that is what I live for, man. If you don't believe that I'm not the only one who wants to see FF16 expanded, maybe, I don't know, create a compilation instead of always leaving behind these beautiful worlds with still so much to tell on the shelf, never to be seen again. Well, I made sure to ask all of you guys, this small community of Final Fantasy enjoyers, what type of stories, games you would like to see within the world of Valisthea if we were to ever return. And really, I cannot thank you guys enough if you are someone who participated in this, because I got over 50 responses, all relating to what you guys would love to see. Sure, that's probably not a lot to someone much bigger than me, but it certainly is for me. So instead of listening to the boring ramblings and ideas from someone like me, why not take it from one of our first comments? This comes from This Is Valisthea, and they say, a prequel following Cid's story, notably his life as Lord Commander in Waloed, which would thus chronicle the downfall of Barnabas and Benedicta following after him. In terms of gameplay, I'll take anything from FF16 style to tactic style. Listen, this is probably the most popular request, not only from these comments, but from 16 as a whole. You know it, I know it, Cid is arguably the most popular and beloved character there is in 16 besides Clive, and there's no denying that. I mean, how can we blame people? The man is an absolute giga-chad. So obviously when Cid makes his sacrifice so that Clive and Jill can carry on where he left off, we all got emotional, we all shed tears. Cid was the master Yoda to Clive, his mentor. And the way I see it, it's here where Clive starts his journey to becoming the hero Valisthea needs. So what better way to appreciate the apprentice's story even more than telling the story of the mentor? I mean, don't just take it from me, listen to the localization director himself, Koji Fox, talk about the potential for a Cid prequel.
I love that character, and yeah, he has such a weird and deep backstory, you know, all the stuff with Benedicta and his time with Waloed and coming from the continent, and so you think there's got to be, you know, and there's the allusions to stuff as well, like the battle that he has with Dion in, you know, the soundtrack before they come in, oh yeah, that's just broken because the last time I just bashed through the wall up there, ha 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 ha, what happened? And so there is a great story there. I would love to explore that more. I do recall having a conversation with Yoshiki saying that, like, yeah, if anyone out there like approaches us for like a TV show or a movie, should definitely have like Cid be the main character. That would be so cool.
We've all asked these questions in our head, I bet, about what happened between Cid and Benedicta for the relationship to become as strained, as complicated as we see it in the events of 16. We may have gotten hints, we may have gotten an idea, but we don't have the full picture.
Tell me about this, Benedicta.
The best and worst decision I ever made.
How did Cid end up meeting Barnabas, and what were the events that led to their falling out? Why did Cid leave Benedicta and Waloed when we're told throughout the story how much Cid cared for her? Is it because of her unyielding loyalty to the hands that fed her, her fear of losing that power, that wealth that she had gained? These same habits of undying blood.
So we've been consuming bad things for pretty much the whole of human history. And there are people that will push tobacco as a great thing for you. I mean, there was actually an ad saying 9 out of 10 doctors recommend you smoke. It helps you relax. I mean, we have been sold a lie around products and things our whole life. I think what's different now, what I see in young people, is actually the opposite to what everyone tells me. Young people are actually fully aware of what's going on. That's why big bad companies are finding it hard to recruit young people that are motivated. Because they know the truth about these companies. And so these companies that do bad can't hide anymore behind their money and their brand. Social media exposes them. I see social media as actually a big liberator for people if you consume it right.
30 years of Resident Evil!
The OG from the 90s.
How does it feel knowing that from the beginning to the end of the movie there was nothing but non-stop applause and just cheering?
It's the passion of the Resident Evil community that makes this an important project.
Without further ado, Resurrection, a biohazard story, everybody! Years of Resident Evil! We had a really talented creatives with us who brought this project together. It would not have happened without these guys here and their contributions 30 years ago. So an absolute enormous applause for the original cast of Resident Evil. Now we're going to take our seats, and obviously this is an independent project, not for profit. Huge shout out to Andrew and Beggy for making this initially possible. I mean, I'm just a bean counter, I just count numbers. But we really appreciate what these two did to make this project a reality. And without further ado, Resurrection, a biohazard story, everybody!
Okay, first and foremost, everyone, before we start getting into a Q&A session, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, literally could not have done this without any of you guys. If you backed the project or you worked on it, wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for you guys, so give yourselves a round of applause. Secondly, if my mom hadn't rented Dino Crisis in 1999, yeah, we wouldn't be here if she hadn't done that. So, wrong game. But yeah, that's what kind of sparked this all. And I'll tell you right now, there's no way in hell I would have been able to do any of this without Beggy. Yeah, so I mean, Beggy did everything. Everything. She filed for permits, she answered emails, answered phone calls. This project was very much 2 steps forward, 15 steps backwards in every sense of the way, from the very start to the very finish. If I was sick, she took over. So, I mean, I kid you not, she did everything. So, thank you, Beggy. And of course, I mean, I don't have time to thank every single person, but obviously everyone up here, thank you. Yeah, that JJ guy. So, anyways, yeah, that's. I just wanted to take some time and say thank you, and yeah, I guess we'll open the floor for questions now. I have my friend Brian Torkelson, everyone. He will be walking around with a microphone if anybody has any questions they want to ask, and he'll hand it to you, and he'll just film it for our BTS video we have going. So
The man in the blue shirt. Yeah.
Anyway, I just got to know, how does it feel knowing that from the beginning to the end of the movie there was nothing but nonstop applause and just cheering? Like that was amazing in my opinion. That's all I got to know or ask.
So obviously it goes without saying that when we did the Keeper's Diary, a Biohazard story, that already kind of set a precedent. So for us to then really turn that up to 11, obviously it being the 30th year anniversary of Resident Evil as well, and to have all of these guys here, it was literally like the most stars-aligned process I think there's ever been. This is obviously a massive step up to what we achieved in Keeper's Diary. You know, long gone were the really cramped corridors and all that fun stuff. We had helicopters, it was crazy. So, initially guys, what did we think of Resurrection?
Yeah, no, well said, Andy. And again, thank you to everybody for your support. This would not have happened without you. To hear the applause throughout the entire film. Now, I'll admit, there's a lot more people here that have done way more work than I have, but I know how much work and dedication and time and energy went into this project. Literally blood, sweat, and tears. And so to hear people applauding not only makes me feel good to hear that you guys are enjoying it, but it makes me feel really good for the people that invested so much time into this project. It makes me very happy. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you again. And I'm going to pass it over to Anthony.
Yeah, this has just been incredible to hear all of the reactions and just to make the fans happy, because Hollywood has done us fans dirty in the past, to say the least, So this is just our little thank you to the fans, and just we can't do this without any of you, so just thank you. We love you.
Yeah, felt good. I'm Berto. I'm the cinematographer, director of photography. Thank you. Yeah, it was a blast. Good crew, good people. There's a lot of overnights, long hours, grueling work, but when you look over and the person next to you is, grinding it out there with you, you find that sense of camaraderie, and you've kind of formed this little tight-knit community, and, it takes a village to make a film, and everyone stepped in and stepped up, and everyone here was a big part of that, so thank you all.
Yeah, it feels wonderful, especially because we know how much suffering I think necessarily goes into the making of any film, and people really, like our cast and crew, like they broke their backs over this. They had so much going on during the 2 weeks that we filmed beforehand. The 2 weeks of pre-production, we had so much going on back and forth, a lot of connections being made, and just to understand that people would put forth money to support something that, some of us, we don't have credentials necessarily, like myself, like I haven't really written anything that is for screen, and so for you guys to trust me with that, it means the world, and to have you kind of visit the theater, get what you wanted, and just really hear that audience reception, it means like everything. It's like if only you knew how much we all love this project, and we would like push for this every second, no matter like what we have going on in our lives. This is like the full-time job that we have, like on top of it, basically. It's just always there, always demands attention. It's basically like a baby that always needs to be fed. So, but yeah, no, it means the world. Thank you so much.
Couple of things, guys. Look, I'm 70. How many people are 70, or 70 this year, get to do that? I am so appreciative of everyone. Thank you so much. And Addie, the first day she took me to hospital, I was that ill, and I was so crook the whole time, and she just nursed me through it, and I got filled up with tea, and I just kept going and peeing and drinking more tea. But thanks, guys, and I'm really happy I didn't make it look like shit. So thank you.
Hi, everybody. It's Rebecca. The OG from the 90s. I've got to say, this started with a phone call and an email from Andrew, and then he came to visit me at my home, and that followed with a trip to Wisconsin, and here I am now, and just this entire group of people. They're young and mega talented and super smart, and they had a vision, and they saw it through to the end. So just seeing that passion in them and being here with all you guys, it's really been amazing. And I'm so proud to be here, and this amazing community. You guys are all so loving and have been so wonderful with me. So I just want to thank you.
To answer your question, it feels really good to hear the audience laugh and laugh during the movie, because you have different feelings about it as you go along. You know, it's hard to judge yourself on screen and others that you were there for. You hope it's good, you think it's good, you wonder, maybe it's not good. But the spontaneous cheering and clapping is it's a sense of relief, because you want it to be good for everybody, and it seems like it's going to be. So hats off to everyone for that, and thank you all.
So being on this production, and it was a long journey from when we first met Andrew to today, has been amazing, and so much has happened in between. But that feeling we had when we were there together in Utah, you know, filming, and just the grueling, you know, hours and hours and hours, and sleeping during the day, like being like vampires, you know, like up all night filming. It didn't feel like a chore. It just was absolute joy, and I bonded with every single person on the production, except, yeah, of course, except for Eric. Just kidding. And it was probably absolutely the best experience I've had in my life. Like, no kidding aside. And I can't wait to do it again.
I don't even know where to begin. I grew up when I was 14. I actually got Resident Evil for the first time, and that was the reason why I got the PlayStation, why I became a gamer. Jill Valentine was my absolute biggest hero. And I think, honestly, I'm still processing everything going on right now. The fact that I'm sitting next to my biggest heroes growing up as a child. Never in a million years thought I would ever be here in this position right now. So always follow your dreams, because I'm living proof that dreams come true. So it has been, thank you, it has been an absolute honor that you guys have trusted me in the role as Jill. Inez was one of my biggest heroes. I'm sure, like many of you, wish that she could be here right now, but the fact that I'm filling her boots and taking the lead, it's unreal, absolutely unreal. And I thank you all so much for trusting me as Jill, and it is the highest honor. Thank you so much.
This is Private Bond. Well, I'm just realizing I've never used a mic before. This is awesome. So, to hear everyone's reactions during this film was surreal. But my story kind of echoes Annie's. Like, I'm not technically an actor. I am a small town Canadian boy who's been a fan of Resident Evil since 1990 whatever. You know, I'm 30 years old now, so I think I played Resident Evil in 1999. First game I played was Super Mario Brothers 3, then Resident Evil. Perfectly natural. Didn't do any lasting damage. But yeah, and I've been following the Road Network since before they had 10,000 subscribers, and just when I heard that they were doing this and looking for voice actors for animatics, I just decided to shoot my shot, and I'm like, they're not going to cast me, whatever. Next thing I know, I'm in Utah, which for a Canadian is the surface of the sun. So that was fun. shout out to Dan Kidder for keeping me on ice so I didn't pass away while filming. But just as a fan and someone who wants to be an actor, it is an unbelievably surreal experience to be sharing the screen with people that I grew up watching and meeting all these incredible talents and just awesome individuals on set. It really just blew me away. And not to echo everybody else's statements, but it is true. This has been the highlight of my life, and I certainly hope that it's only up from here and I get to be involved with even more projects in the future, because this was awesome. And I can't wait for Resurrection 2.
Thank you very much. My son, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, I'm Joe White. I was the voice of Chris Redfield from the remake. Just want to say how much of a complete honor it is to be a part of this production and to be a part of this family up here. We absolutely bonded on the set. I've been on a few sets, and the level of professionalism and the level of dedication was unmatched on any big time set that I've been on. This was the same exact situation, same exact energy put in, the same exact passion put into this project. In fact, probably a little bit more, because this guy and that girl have created something that is going to only go forward and get better and bigger budgets and more films from here on in. This is not the end of this trail, for sure. And that's what makes me the most happy to be here, is that I'm gonna, I get to now sit back and watch this guy and that girl, and hopefully all of the rest of the people sitting up here go forward and do more of these things. It's the passion of the Resident Evil community that makes this an important project. Yeah, and that's just it. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you. Build me up too much.
We can knock it down.
I'd prefer that, actually. Thank you. Yeah, it was a kind of a relief being able to hear everyone's reactions, because you never know. I mean, we've spent 2 years of our lives on this, Beggy and I, and it's like, what's gonna happen, you know? So, yeah, it's nice to hear. Yeah, it's a huge payoff, and now I guess we're gonna see what the YouTube comments look like next. So, yeah.
So this is for Linda, Greg, Eric, and Charlie. So after 30 years, coming up here in a couple of weeks, the whole 3 decades of Resident Evil, and with Resident Evil Requiem, you know, being out, and how do you sit back and encapsulate that memory and thought process of seeing it all come to fruition? You know, what is that like to you from start to now, seeing it and then moving forward, knowing that it's going to continue? It's not going to stop.
It's a very strange thing, but none of us knew we were part of Resident Evil through a weird set of circumstances, because when we filmed it, it was called Biohazard, and none of us were like really that clued in. And I think it was like around maybe 2018 that I first realized, like someone contacted me and they're like, did you play Chris Redfield? I'm like, yeah, what's the big deal? And so like fast forward to today, like all the things that have happened, it's almost like a Rip Van Winkle thing, where it's like you woke up 30 years later and found out all these things. And it's been pure joy. And, it's like every day forward now is just a bonus to me. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, you describe it well, sort of a coma of ignorance. I had a similar experience. I got people reaching out on Facebook, and I didn't know what they're talking about, and just kind of weird and whatever. And then I kind of realized that it was a video game. And yeah, I remember 1996. But to answer your question, Derek, as far as the arc and the 30-year thing, you have to think about it for it to hit home. but then it does. I mean, when it's actually when people say, "Hey man, isn't it weird that in 1996 you were in Japan and now we're sitting here today?" And you're like, "Yeah, you know what? It is weird." But it happened, and it's because of the game that touched everybody in a way. My friend Connor here was just saying, "Yeah, I played this and scared the crap out of me," and and that's what that's why we're all sitting here, because of what that impact that game had. So, yeah, it's nuts.
I'm not even sure that it's sunk in for me. For me, this is all so new still. You know, I don't really go online, but when I saw these lovely comments from all the fans and all the people, and everyone's so sweet and loving and just nice, I knew that I was in the right place with the right team, with everyone here on this panel and all of you out there. And it's still sinking in for me because I don't know how big this is. I never really knew a lot about it when I got into this. So it's still new to me, but I'm happy to be here and I'm still learning.
Yeah, the thing I have my trouble getting my head around, maybe because I'm old, a bit senile, someone told me I was the other day, one of my good friends told me I was senile maybe, or asked me if I was. 3 days was all it was of my life. I was walking down the street in Roppongi, Tokyo, and a guy walks up and grabs me and says, "Can you act?" "Shit, yeah, no problems, buddy." He drags me off, signs a contract. I wish I'd read it better, and I wish I'd asked for 0.5% of all takings. Anyway, I signed the autograph. We did it, and I forgot all about it. I went back to being a school principal, whatever, and then I retire, and in retirement, this is the best gig I have ever had. So this is so good. I'm just blown away by the fans. Here's an example. We went to Germany, Charlie and I and Eric, and Eric left us, and we're walking around Germany, and I've got a road t-shirt on, and this guy walks up in the middle of me and goes, "Barry Burton!" I went, "Yay!" He didn't say Charlie, he didn't say Chris Redford, he said Barry Burton. I went, "Yeah, that's even better." Anyway, so yeah, it's amazing, and it's so good. It's just so good. I'm so lucky.
So this question is more so directed towards the producers and the directors. What was your inspiration for Resurrection?
I mean, we kind of alluded to it early on that it was the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil. We did a couple of non-fiction videos on the residents of Evil, and that was kind of the premise of building up to where we are now. We'd already kind of forged a relationship with the original gang, and it was just building on that. Obviously, Pablo's not here as well, so Pablo's based in the UK with me, and he's got a similar story, and retorts it on his own platforms. But yeah, obviously we did the Keeper's Diary, we raised the figure that we did, and we thought, well, we want to, you take your teams with you, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to just send it like sky high. So, I mean, it was a huge undertaking. This project, it's taken years off our life, to be honest.
Rehash some of the pieces that were sort of wounding Jill at this time in the universe, even though this is completely unofficial, even though this is completely fan-made. We want to show another side of these characters that hasn't been seen before. I wanted to add some emotional depth to a lot of these characters, and I wanted to have bioweapons and the story sort of built around that. Everything kind of aids the transformation of the character. This is truly a story about the duality between fear and love and how they obstruct one another. And all of this with the metaphors, a lot of it came from William Blake. A lot of it came from different films that I have seen that sort of they sort of explore those emotional depths, and I wanted to bring that out in these characters because it would be one thing to take the very safe route and kind of rehash familiar ideas. We wanted to keep things traditional. We wanted to bring back zombie-like creatures, cannibalistic creatures, but we also wanted to introduce a lot of depth in the story. And if you watch it again and again, if you pause and really read the lore, you understand that there's so much more going on. When this comes out on YouTube, you can kind of see it and you kind of read everything that has been packed into this world, but a lot of that was from a poet-painter named William Blake. A lot of the imagery was inspired by that, and a lot of the sort of clashes of different emotions were inspired by that. So there's a little bit for you, but there was a lot that came from every angle, from every person that worked on this, added their own little edge. So
You've added a whole new dimension to it. I was just having a bloody good time. And I knew it was a really good script because my dog ate it. And dogs only eat really good stuff. My dog ate the script.
This happened.
So one thing that we really haven't touched on is obviously the crowdfunding process. So this was a massive undertaking. I think we had like 60 days to raise the funds for it. And that was a journey in itself because you almost have a little bit of imposter syndrome because this has never been done before. So you are treading waters that have never been treaded before. It was actually quite a terrifying experience, but to break through it with the Keeper's Diary and then to break through it on a quintuple scale was absolutely unbelievable. And we genuinely cannot thank our backers enough for believing in our vision, because the real benefit of what we've done here, we've got no investors above us, we've got no executives telling us how to tell the story of Resident Evil, because we know what the story of Resident Evil is, because we create content every single day for it. So we combined all of our skills and our talents with the original crew, and we brought it all to life.
Hello, this question is for Addy. I think you might have already answered this, but I still want to ask the question. I guess when you were assigned to write this script, what was like your first thoughts, like as you began, the first early drafts of this? What were your thoughts and feelings then? And now that it's all put together, what's your feelings now that we had a chance to now enjoy the completed film?
Yeah, so for me, in the very, very early stages, there was a lot of kind of exploring the ideas that I had been reading about already, which is, again, a lot of William Blake stuff. And he has this whole mythology and explores these different characters. There's these characters that represent the different faculties or powers of the human body. And so, like, one is love, one is sensation, one is imagination, one of them is reason. And I was thinking about the sort of clashes of those in his mythos. And that kind of came into play when Andrew was just kind of, I think we were dropping off Charlie to the airport one day for some event that we were doing, and then he was asking me, like, we have this project going, like, we may have you write this, would you be interested? And I'm like, yeah, like, I wouldn't take that any kind of lightly, and I would never say no to that. So if we look at kind of what's going on with Resident Evil now, there's all of this exploring, like, different affiliations, different factions, people splitting off into groups, people becoming loyalists of their own sort of factions. And if we could explore that in, like, a very intimate way and then have those metaphors be built into the film, then I would be really happy with that. And I think that a lot of people could relate with that. And Chris and these characters, if they can't necessarily carry the torch forever, who would they pass that on to? And I kind of wanted to see that. So a lot of that sort of came in early on and got more and more fleshed out as we went on. So
Hi guys, first off, I really want to say it's such an honor to be here. So awesome to see this, and congrats. This is like a real big thing and the highlight of my year. But my main question is for a quick question for Andrew and the production team. So as we know, there are many takes and retakes of of shots. My question is, knowing that, will there be like a pack of like scenes, like deleted scenes or like bloopers? Like, will we get something like that, or could there be something put out in the near future?
Maybe. I would like to. I always like to do those kinds of things. It's just time, All my time is towards the next thing. So, yeah, if I have time, I would love to throw something like that together.
Hey guys, I just want 30 seconds. Actually, I don't have much of a question. I just wanted to I wrote a speech earlier for you guys. Tonight's a special night for all of us. Resurrection of Biohazard story didn't come to life because of one person. It came because of the entire team of passionate people who believe in telling the story. To the cast, thank you. Thank you for bringing these characters to life with such dedication and intensity. Every performance added something unique to the world we were building. To the crew, the people behind the cameras, lights, sound, makeup, effects, costumes, everything in between, you were the backbone of this production. Your long hours, creativity, and problem-solving turn ideas into reality. And to the fans, especially those who love the universe inspired by Resident Evil, thank you for supporting this project. To the production team, everyone who helped organize, build, plan, and keep this project moving forward, thank you for the work that most people never see, but without which none of it would exist. Being part of this production, even as a small piece of the puzzle, has been an incredible experience. It's also a reminder that filmmaking is about collaboration, creativity, and people coming together to build something bigger than themselves. So tonight, wasn't just a premiere, it was a celebration of everyone who helped make Resurrection of Biohazard Story possible. So thank you for your hard work, your passion, and for being part of this journey. Thank you.
And just a quick one, like a lot of the post-production team aren't here, so if we can give a massive round of applause for them, because one of the prerequisites of being on the post team was obviously being a huge Resident Evil fan, and for them to bring some of those iconic characters to life was really, really special and really wholesome.
I just want to say beforehand, everybody did an amazing job. Like how Damien was saying, everybody involved, you know, we spent a lot of time, a lot of patience putting this together. Some people more so than others. I don't know how Andrew and Addie, I don't know how you guys didn't pull your hair out from all the things that happened. But the question I have is kind of for everybody here is, you know, you guys were behind this film, but how does it feel knowing that everybody here in this room and the people who were here is because of your creativity and because of the passion you guys put into this? The fact that, I mean, you guys have made friends here, you guys have brought everybody together to have one hell of a time. How does that feel to you guys?
That was a deep one. Yeah, I mean, from our point of view, a lot of us were like content creators in the space anyway, and it was a kind of a round table moment, really, wasn't it? Of, oh wait, hang on, you're really good with numbers. You've got the platform to help us excel to where we need to be. You've got a demonstrated history in the field. Actually, we can do something really, really special together that nobody else has done before. And I really hate to like denigrate other products because I don't think that's how we should sell what we do. But certainly there has been we have been dissatisfied with the official Resident Evil product, and that's really fueled the fire of it. And I think that resonates with a lot of people, and that's why The Keeper's Diary of Biohazard Story and Resurrection of Biohazard Story, God, say that 3 times. That's why these projects are really important, because as I said, we don't have suits at the top saying, I don't like that, I don't believe that should be in the Resident Evil. I mean, George A. Romero had this challenge back in the late 90s, before it was Paul W.S. Anderson. He had these challenges where Constantine had their vision of what they believed Resident Evil to be, and that was excelled with Paul W.S. Anderson. But as I said, we spend a lot of time creating content in this space. I think we have a good handle on what we believe Resident Evil to be.
Hell yeah, brother. Give me a beer.
Hi, I just want to make this nice and quick. I've been a diehard Resident Evil fan for years. It was an honor to work on this project. I did props and consultation on a lot of the background stuff. Thank you for letting me arm half of you all up there. I've been playing the game for years, and it's an honor to make sure you had your accurate gear from the game. The fans, we've been trying to hype this for a year. A lot of people have been working hard on it, and thank you for letting us fans do this. Thank you for coming out for the fans. I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch, but I have a feeling we're at the cusp of something big, and it's a wonderful experience to be part of it, and I have enjoyed every freaking moment of it.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, just as we start to round this off, I think it would be sensible to discuss what we potentially got coming up next. So, Andrew, our fearless leader, what have we got coming up next?
More helicopters, dinosaurs, dino DNA. Yeah, Beggy and I are kind of thinking of some ideas for the next one. It's probably going to be more of an original for market, so we would like to get it in theaters and screaming. So who knows what can happen. I would like to do another fan take of Dino Crisis if we can. Yeah, I've mentioned it briefly before, but I would like to do something with Dino Crisis. I always thought doing something with the epilogue files from Nemesis. That would be really cool to do, because you can get a lot of like investigative work with the STARS team in there, and how they were suspended, and then digging up evidence on Umbrella, things that just never get told on through the mainstream platform. So I would really like to tap into that avenue. And yeah, I would really like to start with an original idea. I think we all kind of do at this point. So, yeah.
So, obviously, we're kind of shutting the curtain on today's screening. Initially, thank you to our backers who made this possible. Round of applause. Thank you to everybody behind the production, whether you were counting numbers, whether you were on set, grinding out the hours. Really, really appreciate everybody's contribution to this project. And of course, we would not be sitting here if it wasn't for these fantastic individuals who had a glimpse in history 30 years ago and made this all possible for us. So we're eternally grateful.
Before we get into it, I feel like maybe there isn't, and I talk about this a lot on stream, but there isn't a concise, maybe video format or opportunity I've had to discuss how I feel about AI and things like generative AI, especially language model AI. And for the most part, I have been a defender of AI, but very specific parts of it. I think upscaling features AI that uses already existing information in an image or something and uses that to upscale the image through an algorithm is actually pretty cool. Upscale like old art in some way, not adding to it, but using the existing assets, which is exactly what DLSS is doing. And I truly feel that FSR, DLSS, that's the way the industry should be going, man. We should not be like pumping more resolution out of everything. Like this just seems like a losing fight. Another component defender, chat, anybody that has ever used Photoshop in your entire life, you know when you have to cut out an image, go across the edge of something and use the polygon tool or some shit. We've spent so much of our goddamn lives doing this, lassoing out things. Having a cloud-based algorithm to be like, hey, would you like us to select just the main thing on this image, like character? And you can do it, and you can actually select a cloud model, and it will go boop. Oh, thank God! Like this is one of those things in an AI setting that actually helps because this is just time wasting, dude. Like the amount of time that I'm putting.
استشعر بالخير والسعد في الوادي مشهر معاكم عدنا والعود احمد افطارا شهيا وصياما مقبول عزيزي المتابع. اهلا وسهلا بك في الحلقه الثالثه من الميكروويف في رحله تجري من الادوار النهائيه الاستاذ جاب صامل عليه انه ياخذ الجائزه باذن الله لا نصل باذن الله. انا سبقان عليه ولكن مين طلع في طريق ممكن يخطف هذه الجائزه. معروف يا الارض انا معاكم. انا ما ادري ايش الجائزه بس محمد خلاص بديت افور. الجائزه هي 100,000 ريال. جابي لعب مع واحد برضه فاز عليه او يعرف انت جديد انت فزت عليه على طول تروح النهائي. اول حلقه ثانيه تلعب النهائي اذا فزت فيه 100,000 ريال. ولا ننسى برضه نشكر الرعاة في هذه السلسله نحسن المليان ينجح افضل. معنا نمك برضه محصول الفراوله حق بيس اخوان جربوه لا تنسى. ولا ننسى كمان برضه تمويلة الشخص اللي يصلي خلال 24 ساعه 50,000 ريال الى 50,000 ريال. شكرا تمام شكرا نمك شكرا. ولا ننسى عزيزي المتابع انت برضه لابد انك تتوقع مين الضيف. شكرا تمام شكرا نمك شكرا. ولا ننسى عزيزي المتابع انت برضه لابد انك تتوقع مين الضيف للحلقه الجايه عشان تدخل السحب على الميكروويف الذهبي اللي جواته شيء ذهبي. جاهزين المتسابقين؟ بسم الله. ما هو السؤال الصحيح لإجابة السؤال الصحيح لإجابة ما هو بسم الله. ما هو السؤال الصحيح لإجابة كاف؟
لا استمتع كسر اختصار المنحة درفت ما اختصار.